Hello and welcome to a video from filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I'm Chris with the K. Recently I did a video talking about QR codes, generating them and decoding them on your computer. And someone in the comments of that video asked if I was going to show how to make a QR code that goes to a URL. And that's one of the things we're going to look at today. What you have to realize about a QR code is it's just plain text. You take text, something you type out, letters, numbers, and characters you type on a keyboard, and you convert them to this that can be scanned. And that's all it is text. When you use software to decode it, it decodes that text, and then depending on the program you use, it may do something with those texts. It may look for certain patterns of text. And there are some standards that we're about to look at that are commonly used, but it all depends on the program you use, and it may handle them differently. I could create a program or even a simple little shell script that will scan a QR code, look for a pattern of text in there, and do something based on what it finds. Open a program, open a URL, do something else, maybe reformat it a different way. For example, if you just put a URL in the QR code, like this, we got https filmsbychris.com. When you scan this, most scanners are going to go, that's a URL, and it'll either automatically open it or say, would you like to open this in a browser? Okay? So let's look at the next example. If you want to be able to dial a phone number, you could try using TLE : and then the phone number, and you're going to end this with a semicolon. I don't know how important that is, but it's pretty much the standard. And you may notice this, and a lot of these are, if you were to create a link in a web page, a lot of these headings are the same, right? So if you have a web page and you want to create a button that would open up a dialer on a phone or any computer that has a dialer application installed, you would give a URL instead of saying HTTPS, saying that it's Hypertext Transfer Protocol. You're saying this is a telephone number, right? So if you guys were to point your phone at this right now, it will scan it. And depending on your application, it will ask, do you want to open this in the dialer? And I'm pretty sure in general, it's not going to just automatically dial it. That would not be the safest thing. Normally it would open up your whatever your default dialer is and put that number in, and you still have to hit the call button. But you guys can scan this and see if it works, see what it does. I actually have a open source QR code scanner on my phone, and then I also just have my most camera applications, I don't say most, but a lot of camera applications will also have this feature built in. If I use just the regular camera on my phone, it actually asks if I want to add this number to my contacts, and will open up my contact. If I use the QR code scanner, it opens it up and shows me the number and then asks, do I want to open it in the dialer? Do I want to open it as an SMS message? Okay. Speaking of SMS messages, if you do SMS to : and a number, you scan that. Most applications, if they're going by the standards out there, which again, it's all up to the developer of your application, it might ask if you want to send this message. And it also, so again, I think when I scanned it with my phone application, I forget if it wanted to open up, I think it still wanted to just add that number to contacts. And my other program asked if I want to send it as a message, dial it, or add it to a contacts. The open source program I use, which is just called QR and barcode scanner. It's in F-Droid. There's a few other ones in there. It gives you a list of things, but it puts the most common at the top. Here, same thing, SMS to : the phone number, and then : and then you can give it a message. If you're to scan this, and your program will open it up in whatever your texting application is, it will open it up to send a message at this number, and it will input this. Again, it's not going to send that message automatically. You still have to click send in most cases. Again, all depends on how the software is written, but that's pretty much standard. So if you want to have it open up your texting application, put in a number, and then put in a default message, this is how you would do it. Here is a contact card, right? So if you export contacts from most contact applications, it's going to be a VCard format. In many cases, it's one of the main standards. If you just put the text from a VCard output into the QR code, again, just this text, and there's other options in there, right? We have phone number here, work number here, URL, you can have email address, birth dates. Again, take your contact information. You can type up one of these by yourself if you know the format, but you just say export contact and it'll create a VCF file. You just take that text, put it in a QR code, people can scan it, and again, depending on their application, you'll probably ask, do you want to add this to your contacts? Same thing with iCal. So here is, if you scan this, it will ask if you want to add this event to your calendar. If I shrink this down a little bit, there's more to it. So you have, your begin event, the summary, location, URL, and there's a lot of other options in there. I just put in a few options as examples here. So again, you guys can scan this and we'll ask if you want to add this to your calendar. This is a common one, Wi-Fi, right? You can look this up. This is you do have to format this properly. We have the name of the Wi-Fi, type of encryption, and then the password here. There's a few other things that you might want to put in there depending on your setup. But yeah, there's sites out there that can generate it. You can also just look at the format and just type that out. Again, you don't need any special software. It's all just plain text. You can type it. It's in the QR code. And as long as the application you're scanning it with is looking for those set characters, that, whatever words it's looking for in the right order, it will do something with it. Again, mail to. This is just like a URL. If I created a website and I wanted to create a link that would email somebody, and you have a default email application on your device, this is going to email this address. You can also put, again, just like a URL, subject, and you can put a subject here and a body. If you scan that, if you have a default email application set up on your device, it will put this in as the recipient. They will put in this as the subject, and this is the body. Again, you could leave off everything at the question mark and beyond if you just want to open it up to mail to that person. And then here is another example. You should be able to put in like a telephone, again, a telephone number, and then you do a colon, and then you can put other text here, maybe descriptive stuff. And I think most applications will see, okay, it will see all the text, but then also still ask if you want to open up the dialer, and it will realize the semicolon here as a delimiter, so it's not going to put in the other text. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to this little program. Let me go ahead, and it's just a quick little script I put in. It's a bash script. I made an array with a list of just plain text stuff, then I loop through that, clear the screen each time, print what the text is, then create the QR code, and then wait for you to hit enter. So you can play around with this. Again, the link will be in the description. I hope that helps answer some question, but again, don't overthink it. A QR code is nothing but encoded text. If you can type it, that's what the QR code is. And again, theoretically, QR codes you can decode by hand. You don't need a computer. It's just very complicated, and time consuming. But theoretically, if all computers were to disappear and you knew the format, you could decode a QR code by hand. Although there's also different ways it can compress the data. But in general, it's just plain text, nothing more. And an application you scan it with will look at that and look for patterns in there. And based on the program you're scanning with, it may do something with the text. But just decoding a QR code is just going to give you plain text. Thanks for watching filmsbychris.com. That's Chris with the K. I hope that you have a great day. Oh, by the way, I have a Patreon account, PayPal account, LibrePay account, a few other things. Visit filmsbychris.com. Again, link in the description. And there's a support section. I would really appreciate support if you enjoy my videos. If you can't support financially, think about liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Have a great day.